For most people, it's a certain time on the clock, but as we go deeper into our satsang, into our spirituality, we begin to experience that now is more than just a certain time. It's actually something that's constant. Whatever we experience in our life, it's happening now. Even if I'm sat here thinking about yesterday, I'm doing it now. Or if I'm imagining where I'll be 2 weeks from now, I'm doing it now. So as we begin to really sort of look at this now, we begin to see it's more a deeper state that we can experience everything from, rather than just being a certain time. What time is it now? Well, it's so-and-so o'clock. Most human beings, our attention is constantly focused towards the future, and we might tend to be quite fearful. When our attention is focused on the past, we'll be regretting, we'll be feeling guilt, shame, that type of thing. If we can come to see that there really, in reality, only is this now moment, that's all we ever have, that really is our truest state, and that's all we can control. And that even when we experience the past, it felt like now. 10 years ago, if we had this conversation, it'd feel like now. So as we begin to realise that all of our life has been lived in this background, this backdrop of now, this feeling of now, it begins to be much more reliable and stable. It's something we can rely upon. And we begin to take back the essence of our power, really, to make changes in our life. We can spend more time recognising this now, not necessarily trying to be in the now, because that's an impossible practice that a lot of people get stuck in, but to recognise that it's always now, that there is no other time than now, no matter what the clock says. We begin to relax into this bigger space that's at the background of all of our experiences, in which really, when we begin to access that, to notice that, it begins to move to the foreground, into our closer to us. What does that mean in practical terms? It means that we're not running around like most people are constantly rushing to the next experience, the next moment, to the next thing that they've got to do, as if their life is like an endless to-do list. And if we can become aware of this sense of now, that everything is always happening now, we'll begin to slow down, we'll begin to relax, we'll begin to appreciate life as it's actually happening. And most importantly, we'll come to a seeing that the future isn't really real. It's really just a thought-constructed reality of what might be. And the past isn't really real either. It's our thought-constructed reality of what we have previously experienced. Those begin to fall away. They're not quite so concrete. And we develop a tendency then to actually experience what is actually happening, which is much more peaceful, rather than living out our projected ideas about what will happen. If we're living those out, we're going to get more of the same, and our life will just be going along like this. Now is the only thing we've got, really. Now is the only moment we can change anything. And as we access that more, we'll begin to feel our sort of essence coming back to its natural state, our power begin to build, to make changes we want to make, to move in whichever direction we want to move. It's not something that we have to strive at. It's more of a gentle recognition that it's always been now, whatever time, wherever we've been, whatever we've done, it's been now.